Just on the audience thing, one of the things I've read a couple of people recently who've talked quite a lot about. We talk about audiences online, and a lot of writing, a lot of research has gone into the kind of nicheification, let's say. But I was listening to some interesting stuff about how there are sort of there are sort of two broad audiences. One is short form and one is long form, and it's almost as if they're completely different groups entirely. It's like if you make something and you make it and it's the same content, but essentially you make it long form, an entire section will just not engage with that. But if you make the same content, you make it short form, that other side of the audience will engage with that. And it's really interesting to me how that sort of sense of the notion of a kind of mass audience, a mass collective sensibility about how we watch, that's kind of
Mm.
over now. It's really interesting how that's the case. And you mentioned Netflix. I was reading this piece
Yes.
about this piece in the New York Times where they were talking about they make content now that's supposed to be on the background while you focus on your phone, which is kind of
Yeah.
flipped from 10 years ago where the focus was the thing and the phone would be on the background, which kind of is bonkers to me when you think about the amount of production values that go into a 13 episode series.
Content, there's a hierarchy to visual culture that we don't like to admit exists. It's the same way that we want to democratize everything in life. It's a Western centric approach. Many things about that is true. It works. It's part of a lot of our base value systems. It informs our sense of being in having universal access to voice and expression. I think all those things are true, but I think there's a bit of a confusion between a democratization of to the tools and a democratization to the result, the creative result. That I think we still want to have some form, like status isn't going to go away, and for status to for things to have status, not everybody can be at the top, and that's not to say that you intentionally keeping people out. That's not to say that you're gatekeeping, but now what we're kind of seeing is like there's all this desire to arrive without effort, like it's an arrival without effort, and I think that that changes the nature of how you arrive.